Good day, dear ones. I welcome you to this time apart with God. There's no better way to spend your time than to commune with God, so please feel blessed in your decision to click in today. I believe God will meet you here. First, a brief announcement for those of you who attend Bay United Methodist Church. Due to the rising count of COVID cases in our area and out of an abundance of caution, and in accord with state recommendations, the Administrative Council of Bay Church will close the sanctuary for the next 3 Sundays for worship. That coincides with state restrictions. Of course, the drive-in option is still available to you, as is the streaming option on our Facebook page, so all the other means of worshiping with us will go on as usual. On December 20th, I expect we will reopen the sanctuary, and we are also going to offer our Christmas Eve service at a variety of times in order to keep ourselves spaced. It will, of course, be a Christmas Eve like no other. We will have more to say about that later. But as for now, as I record this, it's the day before Thanksgiving, and in tribute to the holiday, I thought I would share with you some thoughts about gratitude. First off, let me share a passage with you from Luke 17, beginning with verse 11. Now, on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, Jesus said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw that he was healed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." Now, some background is in order here. Leprosy is a skin disease spread through airborne exposure. It's caused by a slow-growing bacteria that disfigures the skin after time. Because it's a bacterium, it's easily treated today, but that was not the case in ancient times. Those who were infected were required to isolate themselves away from the rest of society, no contact whatsoever except with other lepers. There was no treatment back then. There was no known cure. But if for some reason someone recovered, there was a process described in Leviticus 14 to reintegrate the recovered leper back into society. And the first step was to be inspected by the priests. So imagine this. Here are 10 lepers crying out from a distance. We know about distancing, don't we? They were asking Jesus for help. Jesus tells them, as prescribed in Leviticus, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." But wait, they still have their leprosy. Why show ourselves to the priests if we still have the disease? Nevertheless, they did as Jesus said, and lo and behold, they were healed on the way to obedience to Jesus' words. Now, isn't that fascinating? So often we sit around waiting for God to act before we get engaged, but no, once we get ourselves in gear first, once we start down the road of obedience, that's when the blessings start to flow. These 10 lepers started down that path of obedience and were healed as a result. One of those lepers, seeing what had happened, returned, praising God, and thanked Jesus. He did so at Jesus' feet, distancing no more. Jesus noted that 10 were healed, but only one returned in gratitude. My point today is that the one who showed gratitude was the one who was especially blessed. Now, I don't want to be too tough on the other 9. After all, they were just on the way to the priests, just as Jesus told them to do. But the one who returned was compelled by gratitude. He came back. The priest could wait. His need to give thanks could not. My friends, the impulse to give thanks is a wonderful thing. It comes from the recognition that you have been blessed, With that recognition comes an abundance of joy, and from that recognition comes an inner obligation to say, thank you. Now, if you are ignorant of the fact that you are blessed, if you ignore your blessings, dismiss them, or otherwise discount them, you will never have the joy that comes from receiving those blessings. So it only makes sense. The first and foremost blessing you can receive is the knowledge you have been blessed. Because if you don't know you're blessed, have you really been blessed at all? I don't think so. The recognition you have been blessed, combined with the impulse to give thanks, is what multiplies the joy in your life. If you don't recognize the blessing, it has no meaning to you at all. I will guarantee you this. When you live with a constant awareness of what God has done for you and continues to do daily, your life will be overflowing with unstoppable joy. Your blessings from God come at you wave after wave after wave, and the world can do nothing to diminish those blessings. No hardship can take them away. No, the only way those blessings can be stopped is if you don't recognize them as blessings, if you take them for granted, or ascribe them to luck or circumstances or even to yourself. For then you won't feel blessed at all. And your life will be dull, mundane, and lacking in wonder. No, if you want to live gloriously, see and recognize the blessings you receive. Then give the glory to God. His smile upon you will add even more wonder to it all. For God can do for you what you could never do for yourself, and He does it. He delights in blessing His children. In addition to His wonderful salvation, God gives us all we need and more. Count your blessings, my friends. Ascribe them to God. Your life will be especially blessed, because the first and foremost blessing is knowing you've been blessed. Take care, dear ones. I'll see you soon.